Hello, welcome to IIGC 2019. We have Mr. Sudheesh Nambiath with us from IGPC. Welcome to
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
IIGC, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bullion banking, what do you think? Uh, when would it start? What do you think about it? When and how is it going to help in the gold monetization?
Okay.
So,
It would be difficult to say when it's going to start, but definitely that's possibly going to be the first move that could be happening in the in the policy changes that could happen. I think a bull bank ideally is the first move that needs to happen for the reason that unless let's say unless you bring in kind of physical liquidity in the physical market
exactly.
to bring in the rest of the and bring in a steep learning curve for the banks to trade and then take exposure. Currently, they don't have any exposure on the books because they just act as a canalizing agency. Now we are talking about banks taking exposure on the books. And then is when they get to learn how do they source and then hedge, and also if they are allowed to export, and it creates a balance in the pricing.
Yes.
So one thing, for instance, if I had to tell you, let's say currently the markets are deep discounts, and the markets are deep discounts. That's again due to good number of supplies that's there in the market. Now, how do you reduce the supply? The reduce supply, easy thing is export the excess good. When you export the excess that's there in the market, then there's an equilibrium. There's price that there'll be equilibrium in the price.
Yes.
And if only the banks are allowed to export gold, so there's a greater level of compliance that comes in. There's no issues related to AML comes in. Because and if there's somebody is worried about round tripping, even that doesn't happen. Banks will be supplying directly only to the any accredited banks, the LBM accredited banks or LBM members, any of those. And so that again brings in equilibrium in the price in the market. First one. Second, they start sourcing locally. When they start sourcing locally, there's an incentive for the bullion dealers. There's an incentive for the scrap dealers.
Okay.
What is the incentive? Incentive is there's somebody who's willing to finance them immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And that's a immediate access to finance. So that is on sale of gold, they get immediate access to finance, and that's a very legitimate way of transaction that happens. Third level of financing, if I would say, banks, if the banks are allowed to finance these bullion operations, then the cost of running the business actually reduces for the trade. Fourth is if they start operating on the refining side. On the refining side, when they start financing the refiners for sourcing doré, for instance, by taking it on a consent basis, and then start supplying to refiners on a regular basis. So that's a different way of financing the refining business.
Yeah.
So all these things, when banks get involved in it, that's again you'll see there's a sourcing compliance would be on a much higher level.
Yeah.
And it becomes a competition for refiners who are sourcing directly through lower compliance, and that's it. Competition with respect to the pricing too, as well. So these are the other benefits that bull bank would offer.
Definitely.
Further to that, when spot exchange comes in, banks would have known how do they manage in the market in terms of sourcing, selling to the exchange, and how they have to be supplying to the spot exchange, something that they would have learned by then. So as this happens, and as it is, I'm saying, bull bank is the first thing possibly that should start off. Further, now when the banks gets into the business, currently what you have in the exchange is just say futures, derivatives. In the derivative market, they're just offering the futures and options.
Yes.
And most of it are plain vanilla trades is what happens.
Yeah.
There's a huge potential for structuring the trades. Of course, that has to go through certain regulations if they are structuring that trade. So because when you start structuring the trade, you're opening up investment opportunities. So there's a gold-backed investment. So banks will structure a trade for the ultra net worth investors, and there's another opportunity that can open up.
Yesterday, what happened, like the agriculture gold loan which was available earlier, so there is an interstate subvention which has happened,
Which was removed, yeah.
which was removed. Okay, so what is your, what is your say about it?
See, this interest subvention that was being given on a gold loan, while I kind of agree that it was being used for various non-agricultural activities too, but then that was a way of that's the way actually the gold was being monetized. When I say it was being monetized, somebody who's having gold at their home, they used to pledge it, they used to take it at lower interest rate, and then buy consumer durables or in any of those, or put it in a legitimate way, putting in the farming activity. As they do it, they effectively what they end up doing is they are supporting other industries too. Now you are getting to this point where the liquidity in the hands of public is being squeezed. Not just farmers, not just for farming, for even for other industries too, it gets squeezed. So and the incentive or the motive or the purpose of buying gold, one of the main purpose of buying gold is is used as a collateral.
Okay.
So if it's used as a collateral is being reduced, then it's going to affect the market significantly.
Yeah.
Since there is a bank, one bank actually has, when I was speaking to them about 5 years back, they actually had something like 30,000 crores was their exposure on the gold agriculture gold loan, and for them and the NPA there is something less than 0.3%. As that bank says, this is not actually an NPA because it is the only collateral which can be sold out immediately, and there's no NPA. There's no NPA, and they were selling it. They were aggressive selling that for the reason one, they are able to manage the books in terms of the credit growth. Second, the NPA is also on the lower side in this segment. Now, what is the alternative that a farmer has? They'll have a Kisan credit card, or they'll take a loan there. If they are not repaying that, then you are again increasing the debt. You are directly, I would say, directly impacting the fiscal deficit at a later date, because you will get to a point again where like farmer loan has to be waived off. They putting back into vicious cycle. Alternatively, if they had encouraged more of such gold collateralized loan, then you are eventually reducing the debt for the farmers.
Yeah.
Because that's why does a farmer takes the interest to settle off the loan? Because he knows that the gold is lying there and they want to take that gold back. Then they work hard for taking it back. Now in the rest of the other cases they don't have it. It's just a social stigma that gets attached to them that they have not paid the loan.
Yes.
Okay, it's just a social stigma. So I don't think that was the right way to do it. And on the demand front, very much possible that it can affect the demand because customers, those who are taking gold, buying gold for this purpose, they don't actually see any reason for buying gold and holding it.
So this was the thing. So how is your overall experience going in IIGC?
As always, it is one of the best conferences.
Okay.
And discussion this time, as I don't know whether you notice, is all about industry taking the onus of whatever they want to be doing, and then instead of going for the knocking at the doors of the government. So I think that's a good initiative that's going to happen.
Taken.
Look forward to the next IIGC. I would want to at least see what the industry is going to. What the steps the industry has taken.
At least the gold spot exchange should start at least by that. That's all. Thank you so much, Sudheesh.